Well, this morning, the Better Business Bureau is warning spring break travelers about 6 trending travel scams that can cost people thousands of dollars. And I'm now joined by Corey Snyder with the Better Business Bureau to talk about what people need to look out for the most. Hey, Corey.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. What do you do with the BBB?
So I'm actually an accredited business experience liaison, so I help a lot of businesses realize their benefits with us.
Okay.
But I also work in operations, so I see a lot of the business scams that go on, especially during these kind of seasons.
Yeah, so you're behind the scenes of all these scams. Speaking of them, which ones are the most common right now? I know there are several, but we're now focusing on about 6 that are getting people, spring breakers.
Yeah, definitely. So as the seasons change and as different businesses, come out with new discounts to match either holiday or spring break travel, scammers, they try to hone in on that and make sure that they're ahead of the curve, trying to rope people into scams and catch them. The most common ones we're seeing right now, definitely no-name, vacation rentals or vacation rentals that are a little too good to be true.
Right.
And always the most obvious are impersonation scams.
Yeah.
Specifically, people impersonating customer services for legitimate like airlines or vacation rental websites.
And I feel like with so many AI websites now, and especially because Google kind of now auto-populates, the answer if you Google like travel customer service for a certain airline or a certain rental company, you just call the number that pops up. And how do you know that it's an actual number, a customer service number that's legitimate? How do you differentiate that?
Yeah, so it's really easy to kind of, see a website or see a number and think, right, that first result's going to be the one linked to it.
Yeah.
But you always want to double check, especially with a lot of advertisements going on Google or social media.
Yeah.
And you can always do that by looking up the business and finding them on the BBB's website. We always have the, the legitimate contact information and the credentials for that business right there.
And we were talking off air about how I asked you, what's the demographic? Is it older people? Because a lot of, you might assume that it's seniors or those who are elderly getting, scammed by these companies. But you said no, it's actually surprising, the demographic, right?
Yeah, so we see that the age group 18 to 25 usually is the ones who lose the most money on online scams.
Yeah.
Scammers, they don't discriminate. They cast a wide net to try to get everybody. But it seems that people who are online more often and are shopping online more often do seem to lose the most money. And that just happens to be, younger people.
So for viewers, what are, some of, again, the red flags? I know that we sound like kind of a broken record when we talk about red flags, but unfortunately we see victims fall too much for these scams. So what are the red flags when you're online or even social media, for example?
Yeah, so it's always good if something seems too good to be true, whether it's like the price or the deal going on. It's always good just to double check it. If something doesn't pass, like your initial smell test, like, hey, this might not be a legitimate website or this might be an impersonation of a different, business.
Yeah.
Always good just to double check, know what kind of scams are coming out and what kind of tactics are being used.
Yeah.
You can look those up on BBB's Scam Tracker to see what's going on in your local area.
Yeah.
And really just being knowledgeable and understanding, what's out there.
Yeah.
Is the best way to protect yourself.
That kind of leads me to my next question. You said you can call, again, to reassure, make sure that it's legitimate. Say you book something like a hotel and it is a scam. Should you call the hotel to make sure that the reservation even exists? Would you recommend that people do that in case they think they got scammed?
Yeah, always double checking because you never want to show up and then it'd be different than what you were expecting, or maybe you book a place and it doesn't even exist, right?
Yeah.
So you always want to make sure you're double checking and just doing a little bit of that pre-work before you actually book something can save you a lot of heartache at the long run.
And when you say that these deals seem too good to be true, what is something to look out for when you see a deal and you're like, this is great? I mean, it could be realistic, right?
Yeah, we never want to discourage people from shopping for the best deals, especially now. But it's just good to know what you're looking for. So if the advertisement maybe doesn't look up to snuff, or if you just do a quick search of the location and it doesn't seem like it matches the pictures or anything like that, that might be a good indicator that you might have to look a little more into it.
I have to say, I booked a vacation and I was scared that I was getting scammed, so I called the hotel and I was like, do you guys have my name reservation? Does it exist? Thankfully it did. So real quick, Corey, how can viewers get more information on these tips?
Yeah, you can always go to bbb.org. We always have a list of all the, the scams in your area.
Yeah.
If you feel like you've been targeted or if you feel like you have fallen victim to a scam, please report it to the BBB so we can make sure we put that information out there to try to help prevent other people from falling for the same things.
Okay, great tips. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll be back after this.